jumped beautifully. He travelled like the colossus he is. This is a champion racehorse.
Simply the best.
Everything he did, everybody loved him. We all loved him.
Kauto Star was a phenomenal racehorse.
I remember the first time we got off the lorry just thinking, wow, he's a smart looking chaser of the making. Just all class. He was you know, proper horse.
First day I ever rode him up our big steep hill, I thought, wow, this is by far the best horse I've ever sat on. He was the sort of horse that absolutely adored his work. He loved going out of his stable, loved going up in the gallop, always worked well. Only thing he hated was traffic. He had a real thing about traffic. Anything bigger than a cart, hated it.
I remember the first time before we ever ran him, when he won at Newbury, I remember saying to Ruby one day, I think we got the real deal horse here.
As they come to their last ditch, 3 from the finish now. Kauto Star jumps through to the lead there, but as they head up the run, and it's Kauto Star being just ridden out in the closing stages with a good lead. Foreman is back behind him in second place, and it's Kauto Star and Ruby Walsh who win. He's down in the end.
I can remember Ruby when he won that day, he pulled up at Newbury with a big smile on his face, and I thought, we got something special here.
I didn't know anything about Kauto Star before I went out on him, and the feel he gave you and the power and the speed, I'd say I was a happy guy when I came back into connections after.
But then we progressed, we had a few little problems. We ended up winning an old roan with him, and then we won the Betfair Chase, and then we were going for the King George, and when he won the King George I was just beginning to think this horse just might be a Gold Cup horse, and you know, the rest really is history.
First Gold Cup, it was quite a nervous day if I remember rightly, and there was probably a lot of pressure on that day.
He came to the Gold Cup a red hot favourite. He had to prove that he could stay 3 1/4 miles. It was a huge big field, and I'd been through the race every which way to work out what would happen.
And they're away, they're off. The Tote Sport Cheltenham Gold Cup of 2007 heading towards the...
They didn't go much of a gallop, there were a lot of runners, so it wasn't the easiest race in the world.
Right of frame, white-faced Kauto Star moving forward into about 6th place.
I pulled Kauto out at the back of the third last, swooped round the outside, going to the second last, pinged it and absolutely bolted in.
Here comes Kauto Star towards the outside, Exotic Dancer comes
Second Ruby turned into the bend and just said go, he just went.
And Kauto Star jumps to the lead, he quickened up beautifully there and now kicks away from Exotic Dancer between the final 2 fences. Kauto Star steals the show and wins the Gold Cup from Exotic Dancer in second. Turbine Green is...
It was absolutely stunning and we were just delighted. I think that after he'd won a Gold Cup, I think the pressure just eased a little bit.
Kauto Star trying hard to close, but Denman's been out in front for a long time. He's still 6 or 7 lengths clear, and he's too good for them. Denman is destroying them, and a new star. It's Denman who wins the Gold Cup. Kauto Star holds on for a gallant second.
He was out on his feet that day, he probably wasn't at his very best that day, but Denman exposed every little bit of stamina in him, and it probably didn't work out.
He just held off Neptune for 3rd place, but basically it just shows that he was tough and he could, you know, gut it out and do whatever.
Ten years seems like a lifetime away. There was a lot of pressure because obviously he was in good form and he was going, you know, to be the first horse to regain the Gold Cup after losing it.
I think 2009 was probably the most confident I ever was of him winning.
Well, you all want him to do well. We thought we had him in a good place, and a lot of pressure, but a lot of excitement as well.
They're off, they're racing in the 2009 Tote Sport Cheltenham Gold Cup.
I remember just watching it in awe of him, really, like everybody.
Kauto Star in 4th place on the inside, just behind Madison de Burley. Mile from that fence, Kauto Star. It's a prodigious jump.
Kauto, unlike in 08, where he was always behind the bridle, in 09 he was always comfortable. He was travelling, he was jumping, he was end to end, and from a long way out there was only going to be one winner.
Kauto Star second, Denman is third, Paul Nicholls trained runners.
It was great because I had a little spot where we used to stand for all his Gold Cups. And I just remember him turning in thinking, yeah, how far are you going to win?
Kauto Star has cantered into the lead in the hands of Ruby Walsh. Sam Thomas gets to work on Denman. Then Neptune Collage back in 3rd. Exotic Dancer is back in 4th. They round the final turn. Here's the rematch, but it's a different story 12 months on. And Kauto Star kicks away from Denman. But it's Kauto Star and Ruby Walsh. One last fence to go. He sometimes makes a mistake, but not today. Kauto Star, 10 or 12 lengths clear
hit the winning post on him was a great feeling, one you'll never forget.
When he went by the winning post, there was a huge amount of pride, emotions released. One I think I'll never forget, that day he's going into the winners' enclosure. It was just the most amazing thing. It was like you're floating on air and everybody roaring and screaming and shouting at him. It was just brilliant day.
There's Clifford Baker, rides this horse out every day.
The public just loved seeing him, shouting at Ruby. It was just phenomenal. From when he got onto that walkway till he got into the winning enclosure was unreal. He had speed, he had stamina, he had everything you want in a racehorse. Most horses either have speed or stamina. He had both. That's why he could just flick between 2, 2.5, 3 mile 2. It really didn't matter.
I think in this generation he's the best. I mean, you know, to win 2 Gold Cups, you know, Tingle Creeks, 5 King Georges, that'd be hard to ever do again.
He was a horse of a lifetime for any jockey, and I was just lucky that he was for me.
Everybody adored him. He lived in box 1, so everybody saw him when they come in, go out. He would always be there saying, come and say hello to me.
He was almost like my mate, I always called him, because I'd always look out the window and always see him. He was the first horse you saw in the morning. He was a kind, friendly horse, and I was just very fond of him.